Hi, it's Chris with Implied Music, and it's Gizmo Sunday. And the Gizmo today isn't a piece of software. It's not a new keyboard or rack mount unit. It's this thing. It's a metronome, the hardware metronome. I like a hardware metronome. Been using one since I was a wee little piano player. And I want to talk today how to use a metronome in your practicing and how to keep from being driven crazy by the metronome. I know with my own students, it can be a bit of a well, let's talk about it today. I like a mechanical metronome. You got plenty of metronomes on your phone, and you can get an app that'll give you clicks, that'll give you polyrhythms, that'll give you detailed control over tempos and even specific rhythms, compound meters and things like that. But I like a nice steady click, click, click pendulum metronome. This is a very simple example of one, although I have to say it's a Whitner and it's quite good. I spent a little bit on it. It needs to be exactly upright on your piano. It's a pendulum. There's a weight at the bottom and a weight at the top. Right now it's set to 66 beats a minute. If I change the position of the weight on the top, it'll become faster as it goes down. What I love about a metronome that's mechanical, like this one, and it's not even electric, I have to wind it up, is that every tick sounds a little bit different. And there's something just glorious about that. Well, how do I use it when I'm practicing? I've just set it for 66 beats a minute. And that's kind of slow, but can be super useful. Listen, I want to feel relaxed when I'm playing. So my metronome keeps me from rushing. That's what it's for. It's not to make you a faster player. It's to keep you from rushing. So I'm going to try a D major scale, just playing quarter notes. That's relaxing. It keeps me from going too far past the beat. It holds me back. I can feel the weight of my arms going down into my fingers. Now, if that feels very comfortable and I understand that feeling, I'm going to subdivide the beat. Right now, the beat is like this, and I'm going to divide it in half by saying to myself, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. If I'm playing scales, I will now play 2 octaves as eighth notes. Are you ahead of me? Let's divide it into triplets. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a. How many octaves will I do? 3. This is the way my teacher taught me to do all of my 4-octave scales, building up to the 4 octaves. Triplets now. Accents on different fingers. Did you hear me start to rush? I did, and I sort of like, sit back, Chris, sit back. Now I'm going to do 4 octaves as 16th notes. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a. One of a musician's greatest abilities is the ability to subdivide, to understand a pulse, a slow pulse, as it is split into smaller and smaller sections. 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 4 E and a, or maybe a triplet. 1 and a 2 and a 3 and a 4 and a eighth notes. 1 and 2 and 3. Let's go to 16ths. Here we go. 4 octaves. The capacity to subdivide the beat is a basic skill, right? You've got to be able to do it. But there's another approach as well, and this is very interesting to me because the metronome is providing me with a very steady, clean pulse. I'm going to try something else. I'm going to take a simple pattern-based exercise, and there's tons of them. I'm going to use from the Hannon keyboard exercises, pattern number 1. And Hannon wants us to do it as 16th notes. So in groupings of 4, 1 E and a, 2 E and a, 3 E and a, 4 E and a. You get the idea. But what if we break his rule and do it in triplets? The triplet will interfere with the 8-note pattern, and it'll take a certain amount of time for the downbeat to come around, right? Basically, I'm taking 8 notes and playing them with a 3-note grouping. The accent will fall on funny fingers, and it will sound really different. So remember the triplet? 1 and 2 and 3 and Now, if you're working with a metronome, you'll want to be systematic. Hold on a second, I got to pull something out. Being systematic means a lot of things, but for me, it means keeping track of what's happening. So like a ship's captain, I keep a logbook of what I've done. Let's say I'm working on the Hannon exercises, or perhaps the Philippe, or perhaps those symmetrical exercises that I showed last week. I want to know what key I've done my Hannon in, and I want to know what metronome marking I've done them in. So, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this, but tempo, what I worked on. Every day, I write it down with no judgment, no decorative language, just the facts, ma'am. Like I was a ship's captain. Clouds in the morning. I saw an albatross in the afternoon. We're doomed. Well, there's so many other really fun things we could do with our metronome. Here's my favorite one, and maybe I'll just leave you with this. So the metronome, it's my partner. And it's my partner in playing, jazz and rhythmic material as well. Keeps me from rushing when I'm practicing complicated material. But it is kind of mechanical. And I want to find a way to make it more swinging. So the swing metronome is a pretty cool trick. I'm going to slow this down a little bit so you can really vibe it. So imagine that those ticks are not 1, 2, etc., but rather beats 2 and 4 of a measure. 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like, this is like the side stick with the jazz drummer. This is 2 and 4. And the way to do it, of course, is to actually say it, just as I showed. 2, 4, 2, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. Right? I love the jazz metronome. The metronome was invented kind of late. Like, I don't know that Bach ever had a metronome. Beethoven, rather famously, has a metronome that everyone wonders if it was like messed up, because his metronome markings on his pieces seem to be ridiculously fast. Now, of course, with the advent of DAWs and the digital control that we have on our phones, we can be super specific about our tempo markings, et cetera. But I'm not sure that being super specific about the actual tempo is the most important thing. I think that for us as players, and I'm really talking to you as a player to player now, you can do this with any instrument, right? what the real key to great playing is the capacity to shave that beat, shave that time period into increasingly small, detailed, precise, accurate, and yet still flexible and artistic chunks. We are subdividing time, and we're subdividing it so much that eventually it becomes a continuous ribbon of experience that informs our playing and really inhabits our artistry. It makes what we're doing beautiful. Ever see amateur musician trying to catch a beat, trying to catch up with the beat? That's not what we want. We want to be in a flow. And for me, I have to say, the metronome really helped me find some flow. It helped me slow down, take a breath, relax, drop into things. Well, I hope this has been useful. Gizmo Sunday, and the Gizmo is one of the oldest gizmos around. Like and subscribe and ding the bell. You'll be notified when I do my videos, and I'll see you next time.